in the name of heaven is this?
Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. LSG and Pheasant SC 2. Thank you for the subscriptions. 2 months and 21 months respectively. The bronze badge looks good. LSG. And a hype train. Got 2 minutes left on a hype train that was triggered by that. Thank you so much. Welcome to Party Wipe. Episode 2. Roguelike what? Did you join the dark side? We did. We did join the dark side. We're making a different game. We're making a new game. We're making a new game fast. Jam style. Hello, hello. Welcome to Party Wipe. A roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party in the style of, you know, somewhere in this space between things like Darkest Dungeon, Slay the Spire, Into the Breach. I don't know what else. Somewhere in this space, we're going to carve out a little niche. Crazy that we're only on episode 2. And Mario Party, you're right. I forgot one of my key influences. I was going to make like a mood board over the weekend. Instead, I organized like 1,300 sprites into sprite sheets so that I could actually use them. 1,300 loose sprites. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the hype train, LSG and Pheasant. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm hoping you have a lot of strong opinions about this game, Pheasant. All your D&D knowledge. I talked with people a lot last night about this, about the potential pitfalls of doing a roguelike deck builder like this. I think we are set up to avoid some pretty key issues with the way we are going to handle character death and stuff like that. I think we're in a good shape to avoid pitfalls like the Darkest Dungeon hardcore death, while still trying to avoid the aforementioned party wipe. You know what I'm not sure about? I'm not sure about changing things. I think I need to change some stuff. Like my Star Trek themed sound effects. I think I'm going to replace them with like D&D and like Darkest Dungeon stuff. So maybe it would be great if I could throw in like a Darkest Dungeon narrator when people do things like subscribe or follow. I think there's some fun stuff we could do. I think I need to move away from the Star Trek stuff. Similarly, I feel like I need to use a different radio when I'm introing. Maybe I need to use something more like this. Something a little more like... Yeah. I've been using calming cinematics. I think I need to do this epic radio. I think this is more the vibe. This one's a little maybe more sci-fi, but I think in general it's going to be good. I think we'll get there. But yeah, let's do it. Let's work on some stuff. Last week, we picked a little card game plugin called Simple Cards. We're going to look at that today, so I'm going to go ahead and open that. I cloned the repo, so we got all the examples and stuff, which we didn't have last time. So now we can see how they use this stuff. I realized from looking at this, I literally don't know how to play solitaire correctly, because I don't know how to actually get the starting mode for this. That's the Balatro example, but here's the solitaire example. But it's really good. It's got examples of like what to do with card mats, card stacks, card piles. Card hands. It's got all of this stuff, all of this interesting stuff, and I think being able to see how it's set up is going to be very helpful. This is going to be a lot more control nodes than I typically like to do, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be nice. It's really nice to have this example set up, because like all the card management and handling stuff is like it's already so juicy. I mean, this is their Balatro example, but like you can just do, it understands how to interpret motions like this and stuff, because here you've established like this is a place for a hand. You can establish places to play. You can like nominate cards. I don't know if we're gonna have multi-card things, but there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. I think using this is really gonna save me like 3 months. 3 months of making my own card thing. But we also want to open my project. Hey Jacob, that's the card thing. That's their examples. Don't get too carried away. Those are their examples. Yeah. That's just stuff we largely get for free though. Like I made a little mock-up card. I need to figure out how to get the cards to play nicer at low resolutions. This is an issue. Also, the engine has been lagging for me a lot lately, which is kind of weird to see. I think it's all the tool scripts. I don't know. Maybe that was just the first time opening. But yeah, if I go back here, I'm trying to decide what viewport I want to have. What viewport size I want to have. But if we do this one, it's a little better. If I do the 360, it's good. I've been dorking with the card stuff with Googate Guardian also. Nice. So I can move cards around. I just put a tile mat back here with a bunch of grass because I'm trying to like figure out what size play space I want. And I'm trying to figure out the size of this playable area relative to the whole screen. I think I need to keep working on... But yeah, we can move our cards around. If I set up some piles and stuff, I could put the cards in piles. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. I need to work on the card format and things, but there's some cool stuff here. The problem for me is I need to get the play space at a different resolution, which I know I can do with like, sub viewports and stuff. I need to figure out how to make the cards smaller. So like, I think this is kind of the resolution I would want, right? This is a 180p screen and you can kind of see the size of the play area. This I think is 8x12, which I think is about a reasonable play space. If anything, it's rather large. I might tighten it up to be like 8 by 8 or 10 by 10 or something. 10 by 16. I don't know. I have to decide how much of the playable space is going to be taken up by card. Note how big this card is. I need to figure out how to size these cards down and get the font to display correctly at that resolution. I need to do a bunch of that stuff. But what I did do over the weekend is organize all of our files into these nice packs. So if we look, we can go, I can grab all of our weapons or armor. Grab armor and weapons, why not? Or did I not actually, I'll do this one then. So like here's like all of our weapons at all their different colors. These were all loose files, which for searching is great. I still have a collection of all the loose files in an assets folder so I can search for them if I need to, but I needed something like this. And so we got lots of options. Pretty great, both in terms of number of items and also in terms of the different colors, which we'll probably do with for like resistances. There will probably be a lot of elemental aspects to weapons so that it actually matters what like equipment and items you're using. Yeah, the card movement by itself is satisfying, isn't it, Jacob? So you play cards and your dudes show up on that grid? Yes. Yes. This music's epic, but it's kind of intense. Is this too much for just hanging out? I think this is good intro. I think I'm going to use this intro radio station now instead of the other one. But I think it's a little much for just hanging. Yeah, I think the idea... I was talking to someone last night, and I think the best way to sum it up is that the cards are nouns, and then what you do with those cards is part of the tactical part. So you're going to play cards to, like... You play a knight down onto the board. That creates a little character sheet of that knight on the board, or next to the board or whatever. And now you can play more cards onto that character. So you can be like, okay, I'm going to play a knight. I'm going to give him a sword and a shield of fire resistance. And what else do I have in my hand that I can give him? And like sometimes it's ideal. You're like building up this character. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, this guy died last turn, and I need him back with whatever I've got before I party wipe. It sounds fun. It sounds fun. There are definitely a lot of, not pitfalls, but what we decided to call considerations of doing a design like this to avoid some of the worst aspects of roguelike deck builders and tactical war games. But I think there's something here. Earlier, I was writing up some ideas I had for like combat resources. So like movements. So I think units will be able to move every turn, like into the breach style. I think they'll have some number of actions, maybe one, but maybe it's like one action, one bonus action or something. If we want to have like items be a different thing, I think it'll maybe be one action though. It'll be like you can move, you can take an action. Maybe your action you can get 2 more actions or something. Like maybe we have a second wind or something like that, or we come up with a bonus action thing. Cards, you have some number of cards in your hand. I think we'll do a Dominion style where you discard your whole hand every turn. I'm thinking about mana, about whether cards should have a casting cost, or you can just cast any card in your hand. Because I think it would be cool if it was free, but I'm thinking that the decision space would be more interesting if there's an opportunity cost to cast a card. Because otherwise you're just going to empty your whole hand every turn. Pretty much, except in like rare circumstances. So, I don't know. What's the closest game that you were like trying to build off of? I think that it's a combination of things. Like, we're looking for like tactical combat, kind of like Into the Breach, but probably simpler. We're looking at roguelike deck builder, building your deck kind of stuff. Kind of like Slay the Spire, but not really. We're looking at like characters and equipment stuff and dungeon crawling, kind of like Darkest Dungeon. There's a lot of vibes. Oh, this has vocals in it. Unacceptable. We're gonna go to my co-working. I think I found a new intro radio, but I think when we actually are hanging out, we're gonna play something chiller. But yeah, it is tough because we don't have like an exact one-to-one. I think aesthetically, we're really going for He Is Coming. I think He Is Coming is the aesthetic touch point, which I feel okay about because we're not actually trying to take on any of the mechanics of He Is Coming, but we are probably going for this kind of a very minimal aesthetic, like solid background color, simple sprites, grid-based. I don't think I'm going to have this overworld. I think we're going to do more of a node-based thing. And I don't think we'll have big characters. I think it will be strict roguelike, one tile per thing, but there's going to be lots of equipment. There's going to be lots of considerations. I need to design like basic character card archetypes of like, okay, you've got your knight card here, right? You've got like your knight card. You need to say, you need like little slots here of like, here are all of the cards. Here are all of the equipment that a knight card could equip. Like maybe you say like, oh, he could have a main weapon and a shield. As long as the main weapon isn't like two-handed or something like that. And then you could be like, oh, well, he's got all this armor. I think the complication for me is I have a lot of armor options. The weapon sprite and the armor sprite are both pretty big, especially if you consider the accessories as well. Like, I need to do that. So like accessory-wise, we have lots of things. We have some necklaces. We have some jewelry. We have some capes. We have lots of shields. We have lots of armor. We have almost too much armor. So there'll need to be equipment slots. We'll see. Yeah, He Is Coming is cool. I think in terms of the vibe of doing the dungeon crawl, it'll be very Darkest Dungeon. Except the thing is, we're really trying to avoid the whole, like, you lose a party member and everything is gone. We're gonna have, like, a softer reset where, like, if you lose a party member, all of the components that went into the party member will come back into the deck. And so you'll lose whatever fractional experience you had. But, like, if you got your knight up to level 2, that level 2 knight will come back into the deck. It's just a question of, can you redeploy him fast enough before you get a party wipe or whatever? Can you redeploy him? Can you equip him? So it's going to be... I think there will be a lot of death to try to keep you off balance a lot and make it difficult to just be like building towards your ideal party. I realized the consequence of all of this, which is that there can't be any... You can't do the D&D thing of where... I'm looking at my notes. I don't think you can do the D&D thing where you have turns outside of combat. Like, your characters aren't going to be just wandering around a dungeon outside of combat. It's going to need to be, like, very snappy, encounter to encounter to encounter. And then you can have them get to, like, maybe, like, a point of interest that's, like, a blacksmith. Or, like, oh, you found the farm. Maybe you can trade for some food or something because you're, like... Or take a short rest or something. But, like... I need to avoid situations where the player could just sit there and play cards. So it really needs to be, like, you are going from encounter to encounter to encounter. And then, like, maybe you finish the dungeon and you can go back to the hub. But otherwise, you would just rebuild your party outside of combat every time. You like the idea of a really intense unit churn? That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for, LSG. How are you doing? I saw your little prototype you put in the Discord. It looked fun. But yeah, I think I want to build out. I want to make a couple of decisions. One is like, what is the scale of the board, like the war game part? What is the scale of the tactical board? Because we're gonna need an area that we can generate like procedural little encounters, and I want it to be big enough that you could have a couple different rooms. So you can have like choke points, or like the room is laid out in a way that like affects your ability to do stuff. I'm trying to open something. I'm struggling. I want to look at the asset that I used, or the asset that we're using, because they laid out some nice little pictures. So we're using Pixel-like 2, the Roguelike starter kit. And so I need to pick a scale and size where the rooms are reasonably sized. There's some choices to make in terms of deployment and things. Like this is a good example. There is room for, they have furniture stuff. I don't know if they have any pictures of it. Yeah, here's a good example. So there's like little rooms. You can do floor tiles and furniture. So you could do obstacles and things that you have to get around. Like there's tables and things that we can make of different size. We could have some different rooms, but I have to basically decide like what's the typical size of a room and what's the size of the play space. And then how big is that play space on the screen relative to everything else? Because we need some room for cards. We need some room for cards. So something like this is kind of tempting. I mean, there's not very much going on here, but we'd probably have a little more furniture. But like this is a reasonable size. What's the size of this room? 7. And the walls make 9. So yeah, I'm looking for the sweet spot. The problem for me, like this is a great room. Like a fight in here would be interesting because you'd have to work your way around this table. So I need a scale that seems good, and I like this. I like them blown up on the screen. So I'm tempted to go for a 180p, viewport. Here's like an underwater combat situation. Or maybe fishing. Like these are good. Like looking at these is really helpful. Hey Nanigans, how's it going? LSG, you're good. You're doing a bunch of data entry for work. Losing your mind. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to hand build all of the rooms, but maybe I end up having to. In which case we would fill them dynamically. Or we'd specify like a deployment space. I like this kind of ruins thing where you kind of have this mixed, like we could do some cool stuff like this where you're like outdoors a lot. I see how they're using the floor tiles now. So yeah, picking that scale is important. And my conundrum is that if I go for 640 by 360 here, then if we look at that, the cards are a reasonable size, right? If we look in here, the cards are a reasonable size, but the sprites are so small that you can't fucking see anything. So I think what I need to do is I need the 180p screen, which is small, but that's kind of my preference for game jams. And since we're treating this like a game jam, I think that's a reasonable choice. If we do the 180p, then it looks a lot more right in terms of like, this is a 12 by 8, like little patch of grass. It's good size, about probably the maximum size of what I would want to do, what I would want to have to manage. It takes up a nice chunk of the screen. Think about it on like a Steam Deck or something. The card's way too big. And so I need to work on that. My problem is that if I shrink the font down any more than this, it doesn't work. So I think I need a sub viewport. And I think the way I need to do it is I need I think I need the game. I think I need the pixel battlefield on a sub viewport that's smaller than the outer viewport. And the outer viewport is the viewport that the UI is on. I don't think I can do that the reverse way, because that would mean having a UI resolution that's higher than the game's viewport. I don't think I can do it that direction. Twitch Nanigans in the house. Yeah. Hey, Arneo. How's it going? LSG, you like the Zelda 2 overworld scale? Always freaked you out as a kid. Yeah. Nanigans, you're doing good. You're assuming I'm looking through asset packs for inspiration when you want to use. No, that's the one we are using. I'm just looking at that because they set up some little scenes. They set up some little scenes, which is helpful for me to figure out the scale. And I like this scale in terms of the amount of screen space that's using and the size of the room and stuff like that. So I'm just looking at the... Whereas this is more maybe what we would get if we did 640. We'd have this really big scene with lots of stuff on it. And I think this is too big. And I think things are too small. Because like if I saw this on a Steam Deck, I couldn't read it reliably. I think it feels too small. So I'd rather do something more zoomed in, you know? So that's just what we're looking at. It's relative scale. So I want a smaller... I want this kind of a scale for the field of battle. This also is like off. Somehow. Was that just me? Did I just do that? So this is 4.5 on this side. It's 4 here. Oh, this isn't totally aligned, is it? No, it's cut halfway. So if anything, what I actually want is to offset this a little. 16 by 16, so that it's in the middle. Oh no, not 16 by 16. I want it by 8 by 8. Now it's anchored. Probably weight it to the top. Like this. I don't know if I want to leave blank space at the top. I probably do, but maybe not. We could have the UI be on like the side. So we could do it like this. I think something like this for the play space. Ignore the card. Something like this. We could even do 16 by 9 or whatever we want. Or something. We'll have to figure out exactly what we want there, but something like this I think is a good scale. I think it's a reasonable scale. Hey, Leandro, what's up? Not much. By not much, I mean we're working on a whole different game. We're trying to do like a 6-month game jam. So we've put the Dream project on hold, and we're working on a roguelike deck builder where you draft a party, an RPG party called Party Wipe. We're gonna try to jam this out. Looking like a solid start. It feels like it's more progress than either you or I have on our main games already. Yeah, it's because I, A, chose an asset pack that was complete, and B, I'm using this card set. This card utility that's definitely going to save me like 3 to 4 months of development on just that alone. Hey, Rhiannon. Yeah, I'm trying to just move quickly because most of this is going to be sorted out during play. But yeah, I think this is reasonable as like a play space. I could probably make it bigger and then use that bigger space for like if you're in a civilian environment or something. But I'm imagining what you'll have is you'll have some character sheets on the side. Or maybe it'll be up top. I kind of want the side because I kind of want you to be able to see the battlefield. But it would be cool if like you selected your knight and their character sheet showed up. And it had like, here are all of the items on it. And you could like click that item and then use it on the battlefield. You could like Oh, let me click my crossbow and it'll show you like, okay, here's the range you could use your crossbow, and then you can do that. And you can click someone else and then their character portrait will pop up or something. The other one will collapse, and maybe we have the character portraits on the sides, and then your hand would be in the middle, and maybe like a deck and a discard pile or something in the corners, or probably in the corner. Something like that. Maybe the enemy character sheets show up over here on the right, and the friendly sheets show up on the left. Is that how they designed this? I feel like all the characters face a certain direction. I think they all face left to right. It'd be cool if the heroes face right and the enemies face left, but I don't think that's how that works. No, everyone faces left to right. So I'll have to think about how I want to do that. But yeah, something like that. We have some really great choices. Here's like all the heroes. Here's the 15 heroes so far. I think we'll pick a few of these as the defaults. So I had an idea about heroes, which is like, so what if at the beginning of the run, to kind of focus you in a little bit, you picked 4 heroes, and those were the those were the 4 suits of your deck. And then so then throughout the game, you could only draft cards in those suits, because I feel like otherwise you might get pulled into too many directions. You might get pulled into like oh, I have like 7 of the different characters and I've deployed all of them. I feel like I need a way of balancing the maximum number of characters you could deploy in a run. And so I think picking the character suits would be neat. It would be neat. And then you could also unlock character suits throughout the game. Like maybe you got your knight, and maybe you can fight maybe like you complete a dungeon, and at the bottom of the dungeon is like a necromancer. And if you defeat the necromancer, now you can select the necromancer on another playthrough as like a playable character. Same thing with like maybe the bog witch. Maybe the bog witch is like the boss of like the swamp biome or something, and you can beat her, and now you can like play her on another run. She might be a goblin. She might be the end of the goblin area. I don't know. But I'm seeing that as a nice idea. And then a few of them we could just have be the default, like the knight. Maybe the knight, the bard, the wizard, and I don't know, maybe the thief or the priest or something. I think there's some fun stuff here. Hey, Sapphire. 125 stream streak. Oh my god. Nanigans. You love it. The switch up that I've done, that me, Dave. The switch up, I'll say it in second person, as in you're talking to me. Love it. The switch up you've been doing and your mindset about things has gotten me into a headspace to be a bit more pragmatic about the stuff I'm working on too. I'm not taking the same leap you are. I'm still working on the same game, and want to get my tools done, but I am trying to focus more on things that actually matter and seeing where I can simplify things again. Yeah, I think that's a great, the mentality shift is super. And I think if I was working on a dream game, I think I would still approach a dream game the way I'm approaching it now, which is like you build it from the ground up yourself. You have a lot of control, but that does take forever. And I don't have, I no longer have the like wherewithal to do that. I think for my current needs, personally and professionally, I think I need to do I need to try to make something this way. It's kind of scrappy, pragmatic way. It makes sense. It's making it hard to put a build synergy together if you have too much variety. Yeah, and I'm thinking of card packs that you can open. Like, let's say the wizard is your suit. So maybe at one point you're offered a booster pack called like Fire and Ice or something like that, and it's like Fire and Frost spells for your wizard or something. And you can be like, oh, do I want that? Or do I want the shield wall booster pack, which includes a bunch of shield packs from my knights or something. So it's like, oh, what do I need more of this run? Do I need more DPS? And do I need it to be like of that particular kind? Because it's like, if I'm going to go fight a nature dragon, it would be great to have some fire spells. But it's like, oh, everyone's dying all the time. But the knight needs to be able to tank more. It's like, oh, I want the shield wall pack. Yeah. I think that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Yeah, we have lots of heroes. Not sure if I'm going to try to find a 16th hero out of one of the remaining monster files. I don't see one that would be terribly compelling. I know you can't really see anything. But there's a bunch of fun different options. Love the chicken sprite. And yeah, I think there's going to be a lot to do with resistances, because like there's a bunch of dragons of different colors. So I think it'll be really cool to be like, oh man, I have all this fire gear equipped, but now we're going to go fight a red dragon. So like, I don't want any of that fire gear anymore because it won't be any useful to me. So maybe I try to unequip it or trade it away or something to try to redirect my team onto the next dungeon that I'm doing. But like, it's imperfect because you're always working. It's always a work in progress. And sometimes you face resets because like a character dies and all their equipment gets unequipped and you're like, oh, now I have to go through the deck and like figure out how to re-equip this. Not only redeploy, but then re-equip the guy. It's gonna be cool. But yeah, how's it going, Leandro? We're in like broad strokes ideation stuff. We're very rapidly thinking about a lot of different considerations. It'd be funny if I force everyone to get some like fishing gear so that they can have this so that they can fight. They can have like a fisherman fight. They can fight like the stuff in the sea. I don't know. There's some fun stuff we could do for sure. For sure. Oh, I see what they use the waterlog stuff for. It's in a okay. I was confused about how they were planning on doing that. I see now. I see now. That does mean sometimes I need multiple tiles on one space, so that is important to consider. But yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm very excited to work on this. Yeah, here are all the different monster types and stuff we've got to play with. There's some obvious and not obvious stuff to get going here. Do you control more than one unit? It depends on what you mean, Nanigans. You have a party. You have a party of 4 units. So yeah, yes, you do. So the tactical wargaming part is going to be, imagine like the little party you have in like Into the Breach. If so, a fishing rod could be more of a utility weapon that just pulls enemies in close but does minor damage. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. I think the fishing rod thing is dumb. I'm just thinking about it. LSG, your MMO brain is spinning. You love a bulwark skill where you can take damage meant for another unit. We could totally do something like that. I have a sheet of a bunch of spell types. So like cards will be units, there'll be items, there'll be spells. And you need to deploy these things onto the character before you can really use it. So here's like the spells thing. This is a lot. These are the spell icons, not the effects. These are like the icons that you would have on your spell slot. So yeah, you could learn a ton of different spells. So yeah, we could do this shield one or deflect or whatever. I have a number of these. I think Witch Bolt is going to be cool. It's definitely going to be Witch Bolt. The Bard stuff is going to be funny. I'm going to have to figure out how that works. Yeah, we got lots of choices. We got lots of choices. So what I need to figure out is, I think I do like this approximate scale as far as like, this is the size of the sprites on the screen, which means at most I could have, let's see what the actual most is that I could do here. So this is 8. So I could go all the way to, probably, I mean, technically I could go all the way up to 11, but I feel like that would be only useful when you're in town. But still, that's an important distinction. So 0, it's -1. Oh, I want to actually do this a little differently. I want this to be 0. So yeah, maybe we can use up between 0 and 10. And then in battle, we won't deploy all the way to here, but that might be useful when you're still in town or whatever. We could go from 1 to 20 maybe, or 0 to 20, 0 to 19. Something like that. So I'd want to move this over. 24. Something like this. I think a 20 by 10. Oh no, this is 11. 20 by 11. I don't think I want the battlefield to be that big. I think I'd make the battlefield a subset like this or something. But I'm just thinking about like how big is the usable space on the screen for the wargame part. But what I need to figure out is I need to figure out how to make the camera or the UI higher resolution, because this resolution is like I can only make this font it's so small. I need to work on that. I think what I'm going to do is we are going to, so I've got the UI canvas on its own layer. I don't know if I strictly need to do that. Well, technically I don't have that at all. Oh no, yeah, I am. I do have that. Hey, Miff, is this a jam project or the new main project? Kind of both, We're treating it as a jam. How are you doing? LSG, one day you're going to make a party RPG, but that's definitely dream game after going full-time territory. With your 3D art style, you feel you could do an FF7 homage pretty decently enough with time. Yeah, the enough time thing is the trick. Arneo, cool game idea number 3928. You play a bard and the music track corresponds to what you decide to play and has some gameplay effect. Ooh, that'd be fun. Yeah, I don't know what I'll do with our bard. It'll probably be like a charm thing, maybe. Or we'll do like a bardic inspiration, sort of. I don't know. I want perfect information turn-based combat. I think. I don't want output randomness, so I don't think, which is unfortunate because D&D stuff depends a lot on output randomness, like critical hits. Maybe we just make it like a sure thing where it's like, oh, a bardic inspiration guarantees you a critical hit or something like that. I don't know. It's a little hard to take the source material. So here's what I'm thinking. I think we're gonna have a sub viewport here. Do I need a container? A container used for the this is the combined size of the sub viewports as a minimum size. I don't think I need that. I think I just need the sub viewport. Oh no, I do need a sub viewport container. God, this whole game is gonna be like UI. Is this in the reverse order? In the wrong order. Let's make this container be full. So this would be up here, and this would be in here. And then so if I did this right, 320 by 180, 320? 640 by 1. No, 320 by 180 is right. I don't know why it displays a little weirdly there. Oh, that's my fault. Never mind. And then if I change this back to 640. So I think I want the UI to be at 640 by 360. Hey, Nix. Thank you. And then this is like that. Doesn't really matter then. Okay, then so yeah, so this looks tiny. It looks smaller than it should be. But I think when we play, we'll have the best of both worlds. Yeah, so we... Oh, nope. Why doesn't that operate the way I'm expecting it to? Do you need a scaling factor? Or did you not get resized? This is supposed to go here. Yeah, I think I need a scaling factor here. Stretch ratio, 2. Is that what I need? Nope. Okay, how do I get this tile map layer to render it the size that I want? It looks good here, so why isn't that showing? Size 2D override. So what are we working on? We're working on getting our UI onto a different viewport resolution than the underlying little battle system. Because I like this size for like the card stuff, but it's the wrong size for the war game part. So I'm thinking that what you do is you have the scene viewport. You've got the game viewport at the higher size, and then you try to do a sub viewport of the battle area. But the thing is it's not stretching to the size that I would expect it to. So I'm working on that. Does it need to be expand? Do I need to set this to expand? Nope. Doesn't seem to do it. Appreciate it, Nan, again. Hey, Wanda Flatus. It has been ages. Welcome in to Party Wipe, a new series we're working on here. The sub viewport near camera. I don't think so, but maybe it does. Maybe it does. I guess whenever I've done that in the past, I have put a camera in there, haven't I? Maybe it does need to be in there. Good call. How's it going? Winda Flatus is the very first chatter this channel really ever had. That was a long time ago now. 2.5 years ago. Arniel, you need to make a game, an Obsidian Vault for cool game ideas. You get too many. Yeah, I think that's normal. I think a lot of people have lists like that. You know, let's try to add a camera 2D here and see if that helps us out. Is this in the camera? I haven't done this in so long. Or is it the other way around? Is the camera in it? Okay, that's the opposite of what we had before, so that's neat. And then what if this is in the camera? I could look this up, but I can also just try it. I can just try stuff. Closer. Yeah, quite. I'm just gonna search. I'm just gonna search how to do this. I could just flail around. Where's its stretch property? That might be the thing I'm missing here. What is going on right now with that? Oh, is that your problem? Stretch. Where is the stretch? Yeah, I guess I could just search for it. Stretch. On. Okay. Let's stretch shrink. For example, at 1270. So I want the opposite of this. I want the opposite of the shrink. So this is set to the 320 by 180 that we want. It looks correct here. Been lurking sometimes. You're good. Nice, nice. Appreciate you. Thanks for the stretch, Nix. Here's the stretch. Jeez. Yeah, I get it. All right. Render target. Activate always. Okay. What's that mean? Okay. Do I not have the right scaling set up in the project settings? Canvas item, keep. That's all good. So the overall viewport stuff is set up for the UI. And then we're trying to set up a smaller resolution area in the screen here. You want that to be small native resolution and scale up to 2x. So the viewport resolution, I want to be half of what the sub viewport is half the resolution of the overall viewport, and then I just want the container to stretch it out to be doubly this size, and I'm figuring that out to fill the screen. Yes, yeah. So the overall viewport of the game is 640 by 360, and then the tactical battle map is 360 by 180, but it needs to double up. It needs to show at that double resolution on the screen. Oh, the sub viewport size? No, so this size needs to be correct. What I need to do is I need to get the container to make this bigger. What if I said this? This. It's not increasing the size of the content. So is that the sub viewport's job or the container's job? It looks like it might be the container's job, because what the container is not doing right now is like filling. That's not what's happening. If I do this, then we've got the right size, and now I just need this. Okay, but now the viewport is too small. Oh, the viewport size is linked to the sub viewport container size. Because I changed the outer container size, and that has changed the viewport size. So I can't change that. 360 by 180. So what I need to do is I need a 320 by 180. Now I need to get it to scale up. How to get a sub viewport container to stretch. Yeah, I have that. So stretch property, layout anchors, fill the desired screen space. The layout anchors are here. It automatically resizes the sub viewport to match the container's rendered size. Well, that I don't want to do. Try size 2D override. Okay. On the sub viewport. Let's try that. It didn't seem to do it. I want the container to be the full 640 and then set lower res on the viewport. I can't do that though. So watch what happens. So if I set the full size on the container, when I look at the viewport size has changed to that size. I think I have the stretch checkbox. Stretch checkbox is on. What I might need is this stretch ratio, which I thought I'd set before, but I don't think it did anything. So yeah, the sub viewport size is entirely constrained by this thing. So I need to make this like this. I just need it to stretch up to the full resolution, which it should be doing based on my understanding of how UI works in this game, which is tenuous at best. Maybe now we also need the size override, maybe. Doesn't seem to do anything, but if I play, does that do something? Yeah, the size override doesn't seem to do anything. What does this say? Size 2D override stretch? What's this mean? If true, the 2D size override affects stretch as well. Ooh, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe I need all of this. 640 by 360. Nope, we're changing the size of the viewport again. That's causing some weird... Can't do it that way. You're doing it backwards. 640 container, 320 viewport size override. 640 by 360 container. 320 by 180 size 2D override. This technically works, but it's blurry. This technically works. Yeah, I want the physical size of the viewport container to be it. But then the size of the viewport is the same. But now it's downscaling the viewport, but it's doing it very... There's probably a setting here somewhere where we can not do filtering. There's some kind of filtering happening now. Nearest. There we go. Easy. Easy clap. Thanks, Danigans. Yeah, I thought I was doing it upside down or backwards or something, but that's it. That's it. We got it. Yeah, it threw me off because the transform size of the container is the same as the sub viewport size. Wait, if the parent node is a sub viewport container and its sub viewport container dot stretch is true, so what if we turn the stretch off now? Because it's already the size we want it now. So if it's not stretched, okay, now we can change this. Can I change this directly here? Yeah, that still doesn't do it. Nope. Okay, so I still need to, so I do need to leave this 640 by 360. This is why I don't try to do anything on my own. We just do it. I do it with chat. Okay, so I don't need the stretch on the container, but I do need to set it up exactly this way. And I need the stretch on this. Okay, we got it. We got it. We're happy. Actually doing something for once you knew the answer to. there's so many little nitpicky little configuration things in any given engine, especially, well, I'm not going to say especially Godot, but any given engine. And you almost never do it often enough to remember offhand what the way to do it is. But yeah, this is what we want. So the battle map is now this lower resolution that we like. We like this size. The cards get to be this higher resolution. The pixel art here will still be relatively crisp because it's at least a multiple of 2 of the resolution because it's 360. Or so it'll be some whole multiple of the native screen, except when it's like, you know, a weird screen size. We'll have to decide how we want to handle weird aspect ratios, but hey, Commander Apollo, what is this? This is we're setting up the battle map mixed with the card space of our roguelike deck builder we're working on about drafting an RPG party called Party Wipe. Someone hit me with some good Darkest Dungeon lines now. I'm gonna add those as channel point redeems and stuff. I think I'm gonna reimagine the SFX that we've got hooked up to the stream for fun D&D stuff now. Definitely get a Wilhelm scream in here somewhere. Okay, so I like this scale.
Most illogical.
I think we need maybe a margin at the top. Oh man, this is gonna be really hard to work on. I'm gonna need to make this its own scene, or I'm gonna like lose my mind probably, because I'm looking at this, but I'm working on this. I wonder if there's a way to do this at the tile map layer so that the editor isn't so unusable. Executed with impunity. Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Wilhelm is a must at the very least. Exactly, Sapphire. The Wilhelm scream is obligatory. The only thing is now the editor feels almost unusable, because like, what if I want to actually select these tiles? Yeah, I actually can't see the tiles anymore. Could we have done it the opposite way? Is it possible to do the opposite of what we did, where the viewport size of the game is the tactical battle map, and then the UI is on its own canvas layer or something, and its own viewport that's higher resolution than the base layer? Does that work? I feel like not. That feels like that can't work. You just save the tile map as a scene and edit in there. I think that's what we're going to have to do. Make your main scene essentially just compositing everything together, but do work on a subscreen. Yeah, I can't think of another way to do that. This like test map layer. Now I can open this. Can I actually kind of see what's going on here? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do. I'm good, Commander. How are you doing? Okay, cool. I think I want to add maybe a slight margin. Like, I probably don't want to have tiles all the way up to the top. Probably something like this. in terms of like maximum battle area. Maybe the town can be more. I don't know. Maybe the town could be like all the way up to here or something. I want to move this around. Man, this really motivates me to not make these maps by hand, except maybe the town maps. But yeah, I definitely do not want to have to hand build all of these battle encounter maps. I think I'll define some basic parameters and try to see if I can generate them. I don't know. Maybe I will make them by hand. Into the Breach has 100 handmade maps. I could probably do something similar. Probably not that hard to actually make the maps by hand. Define deployment areas and stuff. It would probably be more interesting. Because you'd still randomize the enemy components, and maybe you could randomize traps and stuff. It's all going to depend on how much screen space we need at the edges for the cards. And I think that's going to be an experiment. Here, all right, Commander, you're attempting to use Godot to remake an old project of mine. Ooh, Godot is hard. It's different if you're... There's enough differences if you're coming from like Unity or whatever, but I think in the long run, it's a lot better once you learn it. I mean, I just struggled with for like 30 minutes to like get the right viewport, sub-viewport nestings with the container. So I'm right there with you. Godot is hard, but it's good. It's good stuff. Arneo, no one has reacted to the live stream alert. Oh no, McDuver will be upset. McDuver can take care of it. I'm not worried. Yeah, I don't know how big an area we want. I guess if we're in town, we want to use the whole buffalo. With the only thing being, you actually can't use the whole thing because it doesn't actually match up perfectly. It's hard to look at it, but it doesn't. Here, let's just fill this whole thing with grass so we can see it. So what is this? 16 by 12 or something? Show that here. Okay, so that's not quite enough. Is that enough on the bottom? I think it is. Need some more layers on the side though. We need 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 16 by 20. That looks like it's maybe the maximum size that we can do. 16 by 20. Is that the full screen space of the board? Yes. Oh, and is it close? It's close, but not perfect. Unless this is just getting cut off at some point. It's possible. Yeah, okay, it's getting cut off. Just gonna see what the bounds of the area is. Okay, not quite. Okay, so it can be this, but I think I want to pick one that comes right up to the edge so I can actually see it. Oh no, not what I wanted to do. Replace. Oh, that is hard to see. Let's use a solid color or something, or a solid pattern. Oh, that's bright. That's going to be bright, but it'll be very easy for our purposes. Okay, so we can see. So is it aligned on the side? No, not quite. It's cutting off some small amount of it, I feel. So is this orange blue pixel right up in the corner? Oh, maybe it's not. Okay, so it actually is aligned X-wise. It's just not aligned Y-wise. Hey, Windoplatus, OCD trigger off by 1 pixel. Yeah, those are the answers we're trying to determine. I'm just trying to see how this tessellates. Oh, no. Okay, so it is stopping. It's stopping about halfway through, I think. Maybe. Unclear. Is it stopping halfway through? No, it looks like it's getting all the way. Okay, so we have perfect alignment X on the X-axis. We do not have perfect alignment on the Y-axis. And that's because this is 180p tall. So do I want it aligned to the top, or should I split the difference? I guess I'll split the difference if I assume that the way I'm going to handle like 16 by 10 screens is that I'm going to just letterbox. If I presume that we're going to letterbox, what I should probably actually do is support different resolutions for the UI layer, for like the card layer, and then just inset the battle map enough that the battle map is like the right size. Even if you trim a little bit off the tops and the bottoms and stuff for like certain aspect ratios. So we're not going to worry about it too much here. What I might do is slightly offset this. No one's ever going to notice the bottom. There are going to be cards down there. So maybe I keep it aligned. My options are to keep it aligned or to close the distance a little bit. My OCD makes me want to offset it slightly, but I'm not going to do that, I don't think. I don't think I'm going to do that. It's also pretty big. I feel like this is more than what we can see. Maybe not. Yeah, I guess not. LSG, you think viewports are one of the crunchiest things about Godot? They do a pretty good job of making things intuitive, consistent. They really do. Hey, Quillo. Thank you for the hydrate. Those empty pixels will haunt you at night? Yes, they will. You just joined. What are we doing? No, we're looking at our... So we have a battle map that is at a different resolution than the overall viewport of the game, and we're just lining up the battle map. We were working on a roguelike deck builder called Party Wipe, where you draft a party of adventurers. And it's got like two components. It has like the card deck building stuff, and it has like this tactical battle map. And those need to be at different resolutions, so we're just kind of comparing the two, and I think we've settled on a pretty good one, which is that the UI space will be in 360p, and the battle map space will be in 180p. But that doesn't exactly perfectly line up here. But that's fine. Yeah, what am I gonna do? I might honestly offset this by a few pixels just to make my. Otherwise, it's gonna bother me. Yeah, because it's 4 pixels off at the bottom, so I might just do 1, 2. And then so if you play at a shorter resolution, it'll probably letterbox the battle map, but the UI space can expand and contract a little bit within that. So you can use the full space for the cards, but we'll need to test it. We'll test it with this and make sure that the cards are mostly out of the way. And because they're the cards, so here's the other thing. Maybe I don't offset it, because the cards are mostly going to be at the bottom. So if anything... we don't care as much about the bottom of the screen. I think that's what I've decided. Oh, I can't work on this view, or I go insane. So what is this? This is 20 by 11. I'll probably just make it 20 by 10. Trim off the 11. Trim this off. Just leave some space at the bottom. And then I don't think I'll use all of this ever, except maybe in town. I think in town I could use the whole buffalo. But maybe not, because you'd still have character sheets for your guys. So we'll have to figure out how wide the character sheets are and then shrink the battle map by that size. So what if I take... What if I take 5 off of here and 5 off of here? So that's 10. And what if I take... So this is 10 by 10. I don't think I want a 10 by 10 for the battle map, but maybe I do. That's not really enough space for the cards. So we probably take another couple off. I kind of want a margin at the top. I kind of don't really want the battle map to run all the way to the very top of the screen. I feel like that would look bad visually. What I settled on last night to start was like maybe 8 tall and like maybe 12 wide. I think that'll be reasonable. We'll go back to our grass example as being less annoying to look at. So 12, so this is 10. So 12 would be like this. And then 8 is this. Except I said I wanted a margin at the top. So maybe what I do is bring this down. So this is 8 by 12. So I think this is kind of maybe what I would use for the battle space. Something like this. For generating. Hey Quillo, what's this game for? Just because or a jam? Do you have a time limit? I have a self-imposed time limit of 6 months. This game is going to be entered into the February Next Fest, which is a little more than 6 months, but let's round up, shall we? Or round down. Because we will probably spend some time doing game jams this year. But yeah, no, this is a self-imposed. Maybe we just do 1 tile for the boundary. I'm trying, it's kind of like I'm trying to make a game using our workflows and mindset from game jams. I'm trying to use a game jam approach, but to make a game in like 6 months. So not a weekend. We're going to like try to use a similar approach. So like we've used tons of assets, or we're already using tons of assets. We even have a whole card management asset that I need to learn. But we have a whole card managing thing. This is like their Balatro example. It's got all the card behavior of selecting cards, rearranging cards, sorting cards, playing cards onto mats and piles. Like they have a solitaire example, which is really good for that, like this. So I think we've shaved off 3 to 4 months. Steam game, that's it, Quillo. We are trying to make a Steam game in 6 months. That's the jam. This is Dave's Steam jam. Dave's first Steam jam. But yeah, there's all these concepts already in this set of card hands and card piles and card mats and decks and all of these neat things that we can use, and also a whole layout system to build the cards themselves. I think what I want is I want something like this for when the card is in card form. If we go with the idea that each class is like a suit, like a card suit, I think I want to make a fun little card suit format for this. I'm having a little trouble with the font. I've been fighting the scale of the font a little bit. Because like if you look here, I feel like this is 8 pixels. But these are like double pixels. So like while this font is in fact 8 pixels in size, it seems to think it's more. I don't know what's happening, but this is considered 16 point or whatever, or 16 pixel. But it looks like they're 8. So I'm just a little confused about that, because I would like to make the text a little smaller. Would you get the card game asset? Asset lib? Yeah, it's for free on the asset lib. It's called Simple Cards. Simple Cards. So yeah, we're approaching this game very differently than like our dream games, where we like do everything ourselves. We do it all from scratch. We exert a lot of control over it. For this, I'm just like, what's the easiest way to solve this problem we have? Does it work? Yeah, we might do some kind of frame. You are right of that. You are right about that. LSG. We might do some kind of frame. I'll probably start by using this kind of card frame or something. Do something simple, but probably have something more complicated in the long run. So yeah. So another thing I want to figure out is this whole font thing, which I guess these pixels are the same size. So I guess, and this is set to keep size, this unit icon, keep size. So this text is functionally correct, but yeah, I need more room because we have some characters whose names are longer than this, like Necromancer. Well, maybe we just don't have a character with a name as long as a Necromancer. What's another word? What if we did Lich? That would work instead of, or we could do the Lich, who I kind of think I want to be like the final boss of the dungeon or whatever. Something like that. Thrall, we could call it. Well, it's not a thrall. The Lich. I'd probably just call it Lich. So what are the longest names that we have? Archer, Paladin, pretty long. So yeah, our cards are a little short. Our cards are a little too short if we're gonna do it this way. Unless I can get this this image out of the way. I really like having the image. I kind of want to do a playing card suit thing where it's like the name and the image, and then you do the name and the image flipped upside down on the bottom of the card. I really want to do that. Lich. All right, let's look at our characters and make sure that we don't have a problem here, because the monsters don't need to have card names. So where are humans? So these are all the adventurers that we've got. So we've got, okay, the Spellblade. That's probably the longest name here. Let's look. Alchemist, pretty long. I'm just gonna write these all down real quick. Actually, I'm not gonna write them down on paper. I don't know why I thought to do that. We're gonna use obsidian. We'll make a note. We'll say like adventurers. 15 playable characters. We can put them in whatever order. It doesn't really matter what order we do. There is here, let's do this. Let's do the thing that makes the most sense here, which is to put these together. Zoom out a little bit. So yeah, let's just make sure the names we've got are all the right size. So from the left, we'll say Alchemist, Ranger, probably. Actually, I really want to say Plague Doctor here, but I might just say Doctor. Well, so this should be Artificer. So the longest one of this would be Plague Doctor. But I could probably have 2 lines. I could probably have the text form 2 lines if I had to. I think Doctor by itself is kind of funny. It's one of those, like, if you know kind of things. Bard. So this could be Berserker or Barbarian. Berserker is shorter. Is it? Is Berserker shorter? Well, in a monotype font. Oh, they're the same length. Well, let's go for Barbarian then. Although, this isn't quite a Barbarian because they can wear heavy armor. So I might actually go with Berserker. Berserker. For those of you who remember the Berserker song from Clerks. Chemist is good. Chemist could be fun. P-Doctor. I don't like P-Doctor. Raider. Are the characters an asset pack? Yes, Miff. We are using asset packs out the wazoo. One of the design goals of this game is to make a game and not make really any content myself. Like, I want to be focused on the programming and the design. So we're going to be using mostly assets that I purchase off of like itch. Because, yeah, that's one of the things that's really hung me up in my life here as a designer, has been the slowness with which I work on this stuff. So we've got a priest. Originally, I think the art lists this as a cleric. But I don't like this as the cleric because I think a cleric is expected to be able to wear armor. So we'll call him a priest for now. We could call him a healer if you want. We could say healer. But then that's kind of confusing with a doctor. I kind of like chemist. Hey, tomato salad dev. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. This is a knight after the druid. So this would be alchemist. Maybe I can fit alchemist. If I can fit alchemist, I'll keep alchemist. I think this was originally supposed to be the warlock. Or not the warlock, the necromancer, this purple one here. But I kind of like this more as the warlock. And then this could either be... This is written originally as a paladin. But I don't know how to spell paladin. I literally don't know how to spell paladin. I could think of it as cleric. Paladin or cleric. I think paladin is better. Cleric is one of those things where it's like, that is what you expect. But they've got a sword and not a mace, so I'm going to go paladin. Then this is Spellblade, which is another one of the longer ones. I think Spellblade I have to keep. I don't think there's many other words for Spellblade. Although I could make this... Maybe I make this the war... I don't know. Spellblade is good. I like Spellblade. I like the idea of having... So this is like the defensive magic heavy armor guy. This would be like the offensive magic heavy armor guy. This could be a thief or rogue. I don't know which I want to call it. Probably rogue. So I don't think thief will matter. Like, we're not going to have stealth and like pickpocketing and stuff. Hey everyone, how's it going? Berserker usually refers to that Viking myth of the fighters that wore no protection, though. The problem is that's also true of barbarians. At least as they're rendered in Dungeons and Dragons. Like D&D barbarians don't wear plate armor. It could be Demon Knight. But yeah, we're not going to name him D-Knight. So then, rounding it out, we've got the Lich, I think, is a good name. We've got Witch, Lich, Witch, and Wizard. I'm going to give them all their names. Lich. I'm going to give them their alphabetical names correctly so that this reads correctly. Archer or Ranger, Artificer, Bard. I think this is rendered as Berserker. But I could say Barbarian because they're the same length. This person was written as a cleric, but I think they're better used as a priest. That's Druid, Knight. This is supposed to be the Necromancer, but I think this would be better as the Warlock. This is a Paladin. They could also be a cleric, but I like Paladin. Spellblade. This is originally listed as a thief, but I kind of like rogue better. Okay, I just wanted to maintain the alphabetization. Plague Doctor is cool. I think you'll have to figure something else out about the layout or scale, as most of these are more than double the space you currently have. Is that true? Spellblade's the longest one that I know I'm going to use. Spellblade is definitely too long. So we could either come up with like a 2-line wrap thing. Whoa. I don't know how wrap is gonna work with this name thing, the way I've written this. Yeah, I don't really want wrapping. Put the name in some sort of frame at the bottom. Oh, okay, that's a reasonable option. That's a reasonable option. Or at the top. But yeah, I think this dream of having the icon here next to the name is not doable. I don't think that's feasible. That was the dream. I don't think we can do it. I think I just need to put the name in this margin container. And this would be center alignment's fine. I was kind of attached to the suit idea of having the like icon on the side. We could also resize these cards. These cards don't have to be this size. Let's be super clear. I just think this is a good size. But we can do whatever we want size-wise. And this will look differently. This, what we're working on now, is like the card when it's a card. So like when the unit card comes up. So it'll need just a little bit of information. It'll be like, what's the rarity of the card, which will be the same thing as the level. So rarity and level are going to be the same. So we have things like levels. We'll say rarity level. The rarity level of a card will match its practical vertical on each side. Maybe Remus. How's it going? In a tooltip? You like the card pips idea? Yeah. I think a frame is good, Nanigans. We could do it Hearthstone style where it's like the image at the top and then a name and then maybe whatever characteristics. I do still want you to be able to see some of their details. Oh yeah, we do need some room for some stats. We need room for some stats, like the basics, like at least attack and health, and maybe defense. I'm gonna say it's experience level. So like, so like 1 common, aka level 1, right? Or I'll just say, well, I already have the 1 here, right? Common. So we'll do like common, then maybe we'll do like common, aka white. We'll do like quote unquote magic, aka green. We'll do like rare, aka blue. We'll do epic, aka purple, and then legendary, aka orange. So I think there'll be 5 levels in the game. We could expand it if we wanted to and do more colors, but I kind of like this. I kind of like this approach. I think 5 levels will already be a lot. But we can always do more. Lilich. So why is this all the way down here? So I have this margin container. We fill. So I have this and then the H box. Why is this below the H box if it comes before? A little confused. Vertical alignment top, yeah. Is the margin container specifying something? No, it's specifying this. Is it specifying anything else? Is there something else that says we're deploying to the center? So yeah, right now the card size is 80 by 112. We could totally change this. We can very much change this. So let's say Spellblade, because that's the longest name that we have, and it fits. So I'm tempted not to change it, because I actually like the size of this card. Like, if we load this up, this is a nice size card to move around relative to the battlefield. It's maybe a little big, but I don't think I really want to make it smaller. I think this is nice. And then the character sheet version of them will be bigger. And it will show like all their equipment slots and stuff. And the character sheets will be kind of like pinned to the side. They'll probably have a collapsed version and an expanded version. We'll probably make them like cards, but without being cards. Like, you can't move them around. They're just something you could deploy into. That seems reasonable. But yeah, Spellblade fits. I bet Necromancer does not fit. But that's fine, because we're not going to have a Necromancer where they're going to be called the Lich. I think they're going to be the boss of the game. Spoilers. Spoiler alert. Yeah, Spellblade is here alone. You know what we'll probably do is in cards from like the Knight pack. Maybe cards from the Knight pack will have the little Knight suit elements in the corners. Maybe we can get away with that. It'll also depend on what the name of the weapons are and stuff. I'm gonna have to do the same process for that. Figure out if we've got any like weapons or armor or whatever that's like... I guess not all of those will be need to be from a suit, because like a lot of these armors would be compatible, so maybe we don't do that. Maybe I should give up the whole suit thing. Because a lot of cards will have mixed suits. I mean, some stuff will probably be unique, like if there's like a Raise Dead spell, that's probably only going to be for the Lich. Probably not going to be a Warlock spell, but I don't know, maybe. Maybe. I don't even know what the Raise Dead would be. I guess it would be this. Nobody has dared to break the Blizzard rarity color convention yet. No, I wouldn't be I'm not going to be the one to do it. Nanigans flips table, way to spoil things. Haven't even a chance to see a trailer. I know, it's bad. But I like this. I like this. This is supposed to be the Warlock, but and this is supposed to be the Necromancer. But I like this better. Especially with the crown. Like, this is a good final boss, I think. And he's a good final boss because he will just be summoning so many things. The Witch will be fun. Maybe the Witch will be like... I could see this being a mid-boss. I could see this being a mid-boss. So we'll have different biomes and we'll have different versions of these characters be like lord over them. So maybe this is a Demon Knight. I don't know. Can we fit Demon Knight? I don't think so. But again, I guess we could have it be split lines, so we could have Demon Knight instead of Knight. Demon Knight. That could be fun. That could be fun. I'm gonna put that on the list. We're gonna say Barbarian. We're gonna actually... Oh no, that was originally a Berserker. It could be a Barbarian or it could be a Demon Knight. I'll get rid of the Barbarian. Demon Knight sounds fun. Plague Doctor would be the same thing. I kind of like Plague Doctor better than Alchemist, for example. Demon Knight, Plague Doctor, Plaque Doctor, Plaque Doctor. Yeah, Dentist, also known as a Plaque Doctor. That's also good. Hey, Matthew Sparks, you've been gone a bit. Have we switched gears from the FTL? Like, yes. So we're going to try to do something. We've suspended work on the Dream games. And we're going to try to do a game in 6 months, jam style, which is very aggressive, very dependent on third-party assets with a very aggressive timeline. We've already got some card plugins that we can use to make a card game. We're making a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. And it's called Party Wipe. Tiefling. OG Necro is more like a hedge witch lackey. Where the Lich is more of like the Dark Lord. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Which might be how you encounter them too, because I think pretty much all of these characters, I mean, maybe some of them are NPC quest givers or something. Maybe you don't fight literally all of them. But it would be cool if, like, the Ranger and the Druid are, like, the bosses of, like, the nature biome. And so if you go out into the woods and you're adventuring in the woods, eventually you have to defeat the Ranger and the Druid or something like that. And then when you do defeat those, you get to play them. So now you can use that card pack. Some of them are probably going to have to be quest givers because, like, you wouldn't reasonably fight a priest, I hope. So whichever ones aren't the starting ones will have like a quest line associated with them if you don't necessarily have to fight them. But I could totally see you fighting things like the Spellblade, the Lich, a Demon Knight would be cool. The Demon Knight looks cool. Does the Demon Knight look cooler than the Demon? Is an important consideration. The Demons look pretty cool. Well, it's distinct. You definitely won't mix them up. Yeah, I think that works out okay. That'd work okay. Yeah, we'll figure all this stuff out. Maybe you get the thief by following a quest line to its conclusion about like items that have gone missing throughout the village. And then eventually you corner this thief and you have to fight them or something. Think characters like the Plague Doctor and the Artificer, these could be like shopkeepers that have their own quest line. Where if you complete their quest line, you can like, they become playable characters or something. There's a lot of stuff we could do here. I think you're only going to have like 4 starting characters and the rest will be unlocked through stuff that happens in the game. Wouldn't reasonably fight a priest. Look, D&D logic. D&D logic. Look, the first 10 pages of the Iliad is about why you shouldn't fight with priests, okay? The whole book is set off by why you shouldn't fight with priests. Will there be player movement or is everything purely cards? So the cards, think of the cards as nouns. They're like things, they're units, they're items, they're spells. You're going to play those cards onto characters who can then use them as like an action. That's how I've been starting to explain it. You just remembered Banners of Ruin? Someone else literally just told me about Banners of Ruin as a game I should try. So since multiple people have told me about it now, I probably should go look at it at least, even if I don't do anything else. It seems like they didn't execute it maybe terribly well. It's got a mostly positive. Oh, it's very pretty. Oh, it's got the more straightforward, like, ranks. Yeah, I think we're doing more of a Into the Breach style, like, tactical grid instead of the dungeon, the Darkest Dungeon style, like ranked combat. Because I want it to be really hard. Like I want it to be sometimes like your best move is to just step out of the way of an attack, just so you don't die this turn. This looks cool though. Looked like a dream. You're a little disappointed by it. When you get a new party member, it adds a little pack of cards to your deck. Yeah, that's neat. That's kind of the style we're going for. Was this because of the sheer amount of work that was involved with other games? Yes. I am at the point in my life where I need to produce things more quickly. And I need to produce something commercially viable, and I need to do it on a time scale that's less than like multiple years. So we're gonna take a crack at this. And we've had some success with our game jam approach, a very scrappy solo dev game jam approach that utilizes a lot of pre-existing assets, which I hate doing on long-term projects because you always end up fighting them and you always end up wanting to just do it yourself. But we're taking a very, very quick and dirty approach to this. We're not making the best decision. We're making the best decision available to us at the moment. We're gonna try that. We're gonna try that. But yeah. Yeah, let's keep messing around with card stuff. So I think I need support. I think I need to plan for and provide support for like 2-line length names. I think I need to do that. I also need this to not be marginalized like this is. So what I probably need is like a VBox container. Got my VBox container. Let's put the name in it first. Then let's put... I thought I had a margin container for the item. That's not what I want. Let's forget about that. I'll just borrow this margin container, I guess. VBox container. Oh, no, not the HBox. The VBox container. HBox container. We'll use the VBox container though. Alignment center. No, probably alignment begin. So I'll have a name. What I want to do is I want to get this in the center regardless of that. So maybe these actually shouldn't be nested in a VBox container actually. If I do that, then they're going to be based on whatever. Nope. I hate rearranging this stuff. Reduce line spacing. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That might be a style thing. Or a font setting. I don't think I can necessarily do that here. But it's a good idea. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to have room at the top for the character name. And then we'll have a big portrait in the middle of the card. And then maybe some characteristics at the bottom, like health and attack and defense and stuff. We'll probably do something like that. Although maybe these names aren't that long if I let them be too... Maybe we can still support the character portrait on the side. Like, Spellblade, we could spell as 2 words. So maybe I shouldn't have thrown everything away and we could actually make this work. I don't want it undo all of this. So we got our HBox container. Then can I put this in here? And can I separate these so that this would need to say keep, let's say keep centered. And then this similarly, oh, that looks nice. Vertical shrink center. Maybe we do something like this. And we set it up to enough to be consistent. I don't know if I love that. I think I would flip the order of these is what I would do. Like this. So we could position this so that it was stable. In fact, I don't even need them to be in HBox containers at all. I would probably rather peg this to be consistent and then just leave enough negative space that if we have a 2-line name, we can manage it. So is everyone's name 5 letters or maybe 6 letters? What did we settle on here? Priest is 6. Knight is also 6. Ranger is a little long at 6. Artificer is awful. I don't know what I'm going to do about Artificer. Warlock. Warlock, I think, is the longest one. Theme overrides should have it. Yeah. I'm not worried about theme overrides at the moment for line spacing, but yeah. I don't want to do it as a theme override. I would rather update a style, like have a theme style or something, because the theme override has separation, which isn't even being used right now here. So this is some text thing. Text is fairly complicated in this game, or in this engine, which I like, but yeah, I think I need to mess around with this font resource a little bit. I think its text size is reasonable. This is going to be a huge nightmare for localization if I ever care about that, having like a specific amount of space to render a name like this, but at the moment I have no plans to think about anything like that, so I'm not going to. Smith would not be bad, actually. It's a good idea. Let's put that on the list. If we're optimizing for size, name size, which I like having a name size optimization. His name probably is Smith. It's probably like John Smith. Bob Smith. Could even do something like Mana Smith or something. Yeah. No, that's going to be like the engineer guy. That's going to be the guy that like sets up like sentry turrets and stuff. That's going to be the deployables guy. Engineer would be ideal, but it's like too long. What did I say the longest one was? Ranger. Ranger is pretty long. I think Warlock is the longest one. Yeah, Warlock we would have a hard time with. So maybe we could do like Thrall or something. I don't know. Yeah, Warlock is the longest one. But it looks like I could make it work, if only just. What we need to do is we need to have the icon positioning be independent of the name text. So I'm actually going to move everything outside of this HBox container. So I don't think that's what we're going to actually do. And what we're going to do... is here. And this is set to begin. I might turn this off for a moment. Alignment center. Panel container. Vertical shrink begin. There we go. Kind of like this though. I kind of do like giving them the full line, but there isn't enough space, so we're not going to do that. Also, where did this panel come from? Oh, it's being locked to this. I see. That's not how that was supposed to be. There we go. So we can do like this. We'll have a margin container here. We'll say align left. We'll add like a slight margin. And then what we would do is we would have this on the right. Shrink end. So something like this. Maybe we would almost get rid of this panel, actually. Whoa, why did that happen? Oh, were you the one responsible for determining all the spacing there? Yeah, maybe we keep doing this. And then vertical alignment center, maybe? No. Add a margin. Add a vertical margin. So something like this we could do. This doesn't look terrible. Because then we can do what I want, which is to flip it and do the bottom upside down like a playing card. Since you won't be able to see that mostly anyway, I think it's a nice piece of Warlock, like 2 words. That's even worse. No. I know what you mean. You want like that. I think in that case, that's not great. I think this is fine. I think this fits. I think it's a little crowded, but I think we can make some improvements to that. What we could do is we could try to have this panel be a little closer. So why is this being marginalized like this? Where's this slight margin coming from? There's a theme over right here. That's the style. Oh, it's this. This icon is centered inside this, but this is at this weird angle. I don't know. I think something like this is close to what I would want. In old RPGs, they'd go, all right, it's Warlock now. Yeah, that's funny. Hey, Voidblit. Mr. Warlock. Doesn't read as Warlock anymore. Oh, yeah, when it's shortened. Okay. Yeah, I think this is fine. And then how do you flip something like this upside down? This has a transform characteristic, right? It has a rotation. So what I could do is I could say like, I could do this. I could copy this. That's not happy about something. And then what I could do is I could change some layout stuff. I could say shrink end. We could say shrink end. We could say do this. Okay, I don't do it there. I do it at the margin container. Man, if this game teaches me nothing else, it's gonna be how to use this stuff. Why can't I change why can't I change any of this? Because it's the child of a node. I want to flip this upside down. I feel like that's going to be more complicated than I'm giving it credit for. Container nodes lock child transforms. Yeah, I get that. So this also needs to be top level then, is the essential thing about that. Maybe I'll just scale -1. That would be neat. But I can't do that. But that would be neat. Why was I able to do that here then? Oh, I couldn't. I just didn't look. So what if I have... So what if I do it like this? What if I don't nest these quite so much? Need to anchor it to the bottom right. Our margin container would be marginalized in the well, let's do the flip first. So we could do 180 degree. Can we also do a -1 scale? Okay, either works. Either works. Getting it to anchor correctly is going to be a challenge. Do I need a negative margin? Is that how I'm going to manage this? What did rotating it do again? It did the same thing. Oh, because it's anchored to here. I've got this in reverse order. The layout direction thing is more for like left to right or right to left, like different languages, but I guess that could conceivably work. I think I could do this really stupidly. Okay. I think the negative scale thing is funny. And then what I could probably do is change the margin. This feels incredibly hacky. Say -80. That's too much. -60. Well, if that's -48, could this just be positive? No, okay, that would also need to be minus. This is really hacky either way, but I think this would work. Pivot offset ratio. Okay, we can try that. Pivot offset ratio. Pivot offset. By the default, the node's pivot is its top left corner. Oh, I could just give it a center pivot, huh? That seems better than the nonsense I was trying. I think figuring that out is going to be a little tricky, though. There's a million ways to skin a cat. Is this what I said? I might hate this. I might absolutely hate this later, but this is kind of okay for now. Put it in a container that's the size of the whole card. Rotate the container. Yeah, that's close to what I think I just did, but yeah, that's way more elegant. So let's do this a couple different ways. Let's say, let's add a whole margin. So this will be like, this will be like the bottom card. Well, this could be like card footer. Be like the footer. And then this could be like, we could have another margin container that's like the header, I guess. Why can't these be anywhere near each other? Because this will just be absolutely the worst. And then when I make a name that's two things, it won't work anymore. Oh, but I didn't want you to be like that. I wanted you to be like this. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think just making a container that handles this would be nice. Container. Yeah, I think that's neat. Yeah, this definitely won't backfire later. You feel like the duplicating the header will take up too much space that could be used for other things. I don't think we need the other things, because you won't really be able to see the bottom of the card most of the time. It'll, like, when it's in your hand, it'll probably be like slightly below the edge of the screen. Hey, Gabor, how you doing? We're doing okay. We're messing around with cards today. It seems to be what the thing we're doing today is. We're messing around with our card layout. Hey, oh, charismatic. What are you making? Oh, you're asking Arneo. Nice. Welcome in. So this is the card header, which would include this stuff. So like you. What are you complaining about? Is this not a control node? I thought I did pick a control. Oh, I didn't. Specify this stuff manually. Yeah. This is not my favorite area to work in, but we're making it happen. Okay, and then now we can just have a footer that does the same thing. So I'll just duplicate this, and this will be the card footer. And it's just this, but rotated. That might work. Pivot offset. We'll try the ratio. 0.5 0.5. 180. Hey, good call. Good call, everybody. Good work. Probably mess around with the margins a little bit. What was I doing here? Messing around with the margins again. Something like this is okay. This is cute. What happens when I reload it and I call it the night? So what I need to do is I need to specify, I actually need to hard code the size of this unit name area. Name thing. And then if this is long, like Demon Knight, what we need to do is we need some kind of wrap thing that works. It's a little, it takes up a bit of space. Takes up a bit of space. What I probably want to do is get a little more breathing room for this little guy. Probably turn this into a margin container or something. So what I want to do is specify that minimum container, minimum size. We could say 48. We could say 32. We could say 48. No. Oh, why are you upset with me? Oh, was that I did it in the wrong thing? Hey, Gabor, the card movement looks clean. I didn't. How did I do it? I don't do it. We're using a plugin. We're using a plugin. Using this really nice plugin called Simple Cards. They have some good stuff. They have some good, really juicy card interaction stuff. You can divvy cards out. You can play them. You can rearrange them in your hand. You can do little animations. This part is, I'm very glad I decided to use a plugin for this, because we could have spent so long figuring this stuff out. These are their examples, but I have these on hand and I can see exactly how they've set this up. So it's very helpful for when I go to build this part. You probably won't have too many cards in your hand at a time. You'll probably like draw 5 each round of combat and then discard all of them or something. Maybe there's some other fun things that could help. So what else? So if I want to do this sort of thing, what I should do is have the little guy here a little bit more. But I don't know. We probably want some information here instead, which is probably what we'll do with the rest of the card space, is put stuff of like their attack and their health or whatever, or something. We'll have to find an icon that fits that, because we definitely don't have room for more text. Probably some stuff here that would help with that. Line height will make a huge difference, though. It'll probably look fine. Yeah. I have to figure out where that switch is. Probably the spells thing where I'd see this. Is there not a heart here? There's a heart somewhere. I swear I saw one. If not, we could always find one. Wouldn't be that hard. Are you in the items? No. You're not in the spells. I swear I saw one of these. Where could it be? Just want like a heart. Maybe we don't get that. Maybe we don't get to have that. Maybe it would just be attack and defense or something. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. We can always make a heart. If we have to draw a heart, we can draw a heart. I thought I had one. Seems like the answer is no. Oh, hearts. Here it is. It's like I thought we had a heart. Although this isn't really what I'm talking about. This is like a heart effect. I could still adapt this sort of thing, probably. I could probably use that same heart design and do it at just a slightly larger scale. I don't know if we need all that information on here, actually, now that I think about it. But maybe we do. We probably need to make this smaller, like everyone suggested. I don't quite know where that would be done, but... Label settings. Line spacing. Oh, I think I see why this is 16 by 16. It's so that it can position itself correctly when there's like things like... So if this said like... Glug. Lug. It's spaced that way so that the tail and everything is the right. I guess that's dumb, but it makes sense. So I could do even negative pixel distance. So we can definitely make some space, you know. I'd probably make like a card title setting. So there's definitely a lot more room we can make here. Something like that. That's freed up a lot of space. Even for when we have a double line thing. So we have some space in the middle here that we can do some stuff with. Obviously, we don't have room to like list like every character slot on the character. Because all of these things are things that you would either play. If it's a unit card, it's a unit card you could either, if you don't have, let's say, a knight on the field, you could play a knight onto the field. Or if you already have a knight onto the field, you could play knight cards onto him to level him up, right? That's like how we've decided that's going to work. So in that case, you actually don't need to include a lot of information. You don't really need to include a lot of information on the card itself, because what you're going to be looking for is you're going to be looking for the differential on the character sheet of either playing that card or not. So we could actually offload a lot of the information that the card has onto the character sheet, because it's like, if you're weighing whether to, like, let's say if your knight is holding a spear and you've got like a mace of fire attack or whatever, you've got like a flame mace. What you're really looking at is, you're like, okay, if I put this flame mace, if I replace the spear with this flame mace, okay, now my attack does blunt instead of pierce. And now it does fire damage instead of, it does like, well, I guess it would do fire instead of pierce or whatever, right? If it's like a flame mace. If it's a regular mace, it's blunt instead of pierce. And maybe it could show things of like how that would affect your attack, your base attack. So you can see if the number go up, the number go down. Yeah, we'll have to figure something out, but I think we're going to try to include less information on the card compared to more. What I think I would want to do is put one more of you, put a texture rec here. We'll have an undo redo button. It's turn-based, so I don't think I'm gonna have a problem. Like, you could like set a character up and then be like, I don't like that. Let me undo, and let me like roll back those cards I played, and like, yeah. So I think we're gonna focus on having. So here's one problem. We can say unit portrait. We can say like, we can say header margin. We can say things like header name. We can say like header panel. We can say like header icon. Card footer margin. You can even just say icon panel. Those don't actually need to be unique. Yeah, neither of these need to be unique. I don't like renaming nodes if I don't have to. I find it more helpful than not if I can avoid it. Say footer, name, footer, icon. These need to be unique. And we could have one more thing, which is like the unit portrait. We could say portrait icon, actually, is what we could say. This will be... This is going to have a scale. Forgot how to do a scale for this, but what I'm going to try to do is just have a bigger portrait of the guy in the center here. I'm going to try to do it like a standard card, like a standard playing card, like one of these. That might not work, but it might work. If it works, it works. We're going to add a panel container. This would be a unit portrait. It's going to have an icon in it. This is going to use Oh, there's like a little margin in the panel container. That's what's happening here. Can this have a margin? Style. Okay, I have a style set up for this, so what I could do is I could plug that style in to load. I'm gonna quick load the night card style box. I want to. I actually want to put this outside of this as well. Maybe it's after the. I want this to be center. Stretch ratio. I want a margin container. Margin containers everywhere. It's really annoying and tedious to like set up. I feel like it's really annoying and tedious to set up controls correctly, but they're so powerful when you do have them set up. So you are going to be in the center. Yeah, so this is what we're looking for. I need to make these little guys a little bigger. Make another margin container here. Margin containers everywhere. Name margin. Icon margin. Top right. I want this panel to be bigger. Something like this. It's crazy. If you do it right, you can. I've seen people make whole games out of control nodes, right? Like it's doable. That's like very close to what you're doing too, isn't it? Name margin. This is slightly wrong. Something like that. And then let's get the portrait in here. Portrait icon is going to be, just load the night. This is relatively easy to do if I can get the texture part right. Here we go. Then I need the same kind of margin thing that I've got going on here. Who's stretching 2x? Whose job is this? Is it your job? Fill. Center, container sizing. Margin. So this needs to be exactly 2 times its size or it's going to look weird. Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it, but I've never done any kind of web dev ever in my life, and may I become deceased without ever having to. So this is too small now. So how do I make this bigger? Do that for this one. So why are you so large? Why are you so big? Oh, is the margin in the wrong spot? Icon margin, then icon panel, then icon this. I want to get that nice edge of this thing. Oh, I went too far here somehow. How did this happen? This should be 52 then. Oh, it can't be. So maybe we do this be 56. Why won't you just be in the center? Why won't you retain your position in the center when I change your size? I have to also update your position. Yeah, I guess I do. This is too big. Oh, you know what? The margin container thing should be inside this. It's the wrong way around, I think. Matthew, don't ever do web dev unless you have to. Yeah. Yeah, my partner is still looking at how to do all of that stuff and is unhappy with all the frameworks available to her. She's like, I guess I just have to do it all myself. And I'm like, please don't. But yeah, probably. So this portrait should be 32 by 32. And so I will achieve that by making, so what size margin did I say I needed here? So the way I got the icon margin set up just so, or the panel, how did I get the panel and the header icon to be just right like this? Really don't know how I managed this. I get turned around so quickly trying to like manage all these nests of just awfulness. Yeah, this is horrible, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. All right, so I guess I define whatever outer thing. Here I define it as the margin, but I think I actually want to do that the other way here. Set up a portrait, and then I will have a margin that controls the size inside the portrait. this can be like... Don't worry about scaling artifacts for the moment. We'll fix that. So if there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on each side, then instead of 32 by 32, we want it to be 40 by 40. Just a question of where. So something like this. Not quite. We're not quite there yet for some reason. Miscounting here. So it shouldn't actually be that many. It should actually be 3 by 3 then. Yeah, I guess that's what I got here. Oh. It's 1 by 1? Okay. That doesn't seem right. No? I guess that is. I guess that's that. I guess that's true. Oh, these are differently scaled. So the frame, I'm scaling up the... Okay, that's why it's 1 by 1. I don't know. I think this is okay. I feel like I could omit the card, the icon in the center in favor of providing some useful information. But honestly, from just a pure aesthetic standpoint, I kind of like this. Obviously, this isn't a demon knight, quote unquote. We were just testing long names. It's just a regular knight. In which case, I actually kind of want this to be center aligned. Maybe we can, well, we can't really, what I could do is I could also have this be center aligned, but that's, I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll need to do some kind of adjustment. We can do manual adjustment. We know all the guys' names, and we can make the layout separate for the guys with long names. So we can manually handle all the alignment stuff. Footer here is not right. I kind of want to just replace this with the other one. A copy of this. Why is that? Why is that fighting with me so much? Your position. So your scale was going to be -1. Wait, what? I thought I was achieving this here. Oh, I wanted to do it at a different level than this, I think. So you're all like this. Who's turned around? So you're the one that's rotated? Ah, okay. So I should probably actually unrotate this, set it up. So what I should do is I should delete this, paste this back in. No, paste this back in. So it's the same. Now I rotate it, and it should be all good. Yep, there we go. I like it. I think there's room for improvement, but it's not a terrible start. Not a terrible place to start. I think I might increase the name margin. For this one, at least. It looks okay. Whether it ends up that we need more information on the card, we'll figure that out. Hey, Vitamorte, no idea about the game. Would you mind making a short explanation to follow along? Hell yeah. This is a little card we're drawing up because we are making a roguelike deck builder about drafting an RPG party. And it's called Party Wipe. And that's what we're working on. This is episode 2, so you've caught us pretty early here. But we're making fast progress because we're being really ruthless about using assets and plugins and stuff, which is very uncomfortable for me. We're basically taking a game jam mindset and trying to apply it to like a 6-month project that we can put up on Steam or something. I say 6 month. I'm going to come super clean with you all. I know this game is not going to take 6 months. I know this game to actually do would take more than 6 months. Our real goal is to put a demo up by like the holidays and enter into the February Next Fest. And if the game does well, then we can like put it out in early access and like keep working on it and stuff. And if the game doesn't get traction, then we just put it out. We do a little bit more work on it and we put it out anyway. And we just move on to something else. But I think this could do okay. Six months is going to take 2 years. Nope. Hard deadlines. Hard deadlines. You do not expand the work. You cut content to fit the deadline. That's part of the game jam mindset. If we were working on a dream game, I would agree with you. And in fact, the correct way to estimate things is to come up with your best estimate of how long something is going to take and then double it. But that's part of the reason I'm publicly setting myself deadlines is so that we do it. Because yes, the work could easily expand out and it could take 2 years to do 6 months of work. What you thought was 6 months of work. But yeah, you just don't do that. You just don't let that happen. You just cut content. You just need to be able to very soberly appraise what is absolutely necessary to get the thing over the line versus what's would be nice, but that we don't need right now. LSG, you think you're aiming for February Next Fest too? Let's do it. Let's do it. Accountability buddies here. We're going to do it. We're going to get some games in the February Next Fest. We're going to ship it. Yeah, I like this card design. I think this is maybe close to what we go with. At least initially. This seems fun. This seems nice. Oh, none of this is going to work because I've disconnected everything. Yeah. I think for the small, this is all going to be annoyed. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care about that. I'm not sold about solid versus transparent card backs. I think transparent's kind of nice because you can kind of see what's going on underneath. Vita Mortes, that's the part you're struggling with. Believe me, I know. I've usually worked only on quote unquote dream games, and I've always made sure to do it the quote unquote right way of like really just you're like, well, however long it takes, we're gonna do it and we're gonna do it right. And I'm like, game jams have turned me around to the idea of let's do it right now. And then if we have time to go back and do it right, let's do it. But yeah, cutting content, subtractive design, stuff like that. There's hard choices to make for sure to get a game out on deadline. But yeah, I would recommend anyone who is trying to make a long enough project, set small deadlines, set medium deadlines, set long deadlines. For us, I would like the small deadline of having something vaguely playable before we game jam in 37 days. Assuming we do that game jam. I really want to, but I'm also taking serious the suggestion that I game jam too much. So we'll see how I feel. But yeah, there's an in-person playtesting event in August that I will go to and I will bring this game. So I think the first public instance of people playing this game is going to be... I actually know the exact day, I think, assuming nothing happens. I think we're looking at August 21st. No, August 15th, I think is what we're looking at. August 15th, which is... +10 weeks from now. 10 weeks from Saturday. I think that's okay. I think that's an okay thing. So we are gonna have something here. It is gonna be rough, but it is gonna be playable, and we are gonna see what people think about it. And that is gonna direct our movement. But yeah, answering some of these basic questions of what's the resolution of the battle map? What's the card resolution? Some of you might be like, why bother to have the little icon, the little knight icon at all? Right? Why bother? Why bother having that? And I think my argument would be, well, it'll be part of item cards will probably belong to a suit, maybe. Maybe that's a shorthand for you to be able to know what equipment you can put on a unit. The only thing that messes that up is if there's equipment that can be used by multiple classes, but maybe we have like a common suit or something, or I don't know. Or maybe we just make every card have a character that it's associated with. That could be cool. I think that works with our card pack and our suit design. So yeah, maybe the knight can only equip knight equipment. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We're gonna have to try stuff. There's a lot of stuff we're gonna try and see how it works out, but I like this card size. I think this is pretty readable. I think it is light on information, obviously, but what you would have is you'd either have no knight on the board, in which case a knight is better than no knight. And then if you already have a knight on the board, then that knight's character sheet can be expandable up in the corner, and you can see like, oh, here's all the items this knight has. So you could grab this knight card, hover it over this knight, and see how much experience that would give you to play the knight there. And maybe you could even try it, and then you're like, that didn't work. Let me just undo real quick. Let me just hit the undo button and undo that play. I would much rather give people the room to try stuff out than to make it so that you have to like crunch the math and do it all in your head before you commit to any of it. I would much rather have like a robust undo redo. You'll commit? Let's go. Yeah, February Next Fest, LSG. Wait, what are you trying to get in Next Fest with? Cryptid? You're also trying to decide where to put the demo cutoff and to stop putting new web builds up on itch. You don't want all the content to be available for free, but you're self-conscious about the simplicity of the game and you want to make sure the demo has respectable playtime. I would just say whatever you have on itch is the demo. Because then you can be testing on it up until the point you put the demo out. I think that's my plan. Because the people that play the demo on itch are not the people who are going to download the demo on Steam. These are totally different demographics. So I don't think it's one of these situations where you're like, oh, I have to take the demo off itch before I put it on Steam. It's like, I don't think that's true. And if anything, that gives you an area for like hardcore people to check out updates and stuff without affecting Steam demo users. You like that card? Thanks, Retro. This is our, we're trying to do a simple, we mocked up a simple like card suit kind of thing. We might end up replacing the center icon with some character data of like, what's their attack? What's their health? What's their armor? But also maybe we don't because of the whole character sheet system I was talking about. Maybe we don't do that. Tidy on the eyes and easily recognizable. Yeah, and I want it to be, I want the cards to be able to be relatively small. We've got a sub viewport set up so the battle map is at double the resolution of the cards. So the cards can be tighter. They have a higher resolution, but then that means that you can have more information density, so the physical cards can be smaller. Because yeah, I think you'll have I think each combat you draw like, what, 5 cards, like Dominion style, and then you discard them at the end. Anyway. Or you discard them when you draw a new hand. And then maybe there's a couple things that let you draw extra cards, like maybe there's a mage spell that like lets you scry or something. Or maybe there's a spell that lets you rummage or like whatever, or whatever, even just straight card draw. So maybe you'd sometimes have more than 5 cards, but like I want it to be pretty minimal. And I think this is nice because you could see, you know, your hand of these on the bottom of the screen. You could have your character sheets on the side that you can expand out. So maybe the card sits here like this when you play it, and you can see a pile, so you can see all the cards underneath the knight. Not all of them, but you can see that there are cards under the knight. And then maybe when you mouse over or click the knight, it expands into a character sheet, and you can actually see, okay, here's the sword I have equipped, here's the whatever I have equipped. Something like that. Something like that is what I'm thinking of. Then we can just have 4 simple card piles here for your party members. We could have a deck and a discard over here in this corner, and we could have your hand here. And then bottom right, I'm keeping free as the streamer corner because A, I stream in the bottom right, and B, other people stream too. So I feel like if you make a game nowadays, you need a streamer corner. You need some corner where there's like nothing happening. Careful about card fanning. It might hard the little knight if you fan them left to right. That's a good point. I actually don't know what the default is for the plugin. That's a good point, Vito Mortez. Oh yeah, so we're using part of our game jam mindset, Vito Mortez. Vito Mort. Which means what? Is that like death life or life and death, or it's a cool name. It looks like when cards are fanned in this system, it looks like it's right to left, which is good for us, right? Because you want the text readable. But yeah, I don't think the card density is going to be such that it looks like the fanning overlap is slight with this system. We can run it and see. So all of this exists. All of this functionality already exists. I just need to reverse engineer their scene a little bit to understand. But like, this plugin has all of these concepts already of card hands, card piles, card whatever. It even knows what's in the hand or the pile, so you can like see what's in my deck. Like there's a bunch of stuff here, which is cool. And you can, all of this stuff is hooked up to an API. So all of this stuff, we don't need to figure out any of this. Right? This is pretty cool. I honestly don't know how to play Balatro. I'm gonna admit right now, maybe I need to play Balatro this week. But yeah, this is pretty cool, huh? I like this. I like this. Maybe you can like do this and you can see how playing this card would affect your different characters or something. So maybe you could like set up your move and then propose this, and it could like alter your combat power, and you could see how much more damage you would do on the field if you played this. I don't know. We'll have to see a way of doing that, of making it really easy. But yeah, it's got lots of examples. It's got card mats, card piles, card hands. You can pretty much do everything with piles, mats, and hands, I think. Oh, you can also have card slots, which is neat, which I think is what the character sheet point would probably start out as. Very cool. You spent 3 weeks writing your own card system? Yeah, if I did that, I would send 3 months. And that's the kind of unacceptable, because I'm so obsessed and I'm not the best with this UI-driven stuff. So yeah, this is indicative of our development mindset here, which is do as much as possible with as little work as possible. We are really trying to min-max. But yeah, I like this kind of card thing. I have to really decide whether there needs to be information on the card or not. Because I do like this, but I also feel like we could get rid of this part. I feel like the unit portrait is neat, but this is still pretty recognizable. And we could put more useful information. We could put more useful information on there. Because actually this might get a little crowded. This one with the 2-line name guys. I'm thinking. So you've got this and this is neat. But what happens when, you know, it's not a knight, it's a demon knight, right? A little crowded, a little crowded. I'd probably update the positioning a little bit in the margin to handle this. Something more like that. So it's not that bad. That's probably too much. Probably do something like that. So it's actually not that bad. But yeah, I probably could get rid of the portrait and put some useful information here. I just got to figure out how to express that useful information. Back and front of cards somehow. Maybe. I have to decide if I want to use the back face of the card for anything. You also have no idea how to play Bellatra? You thought you'd be the only one? That's funny. Oh, that's Undead in Latin. Oh, very cool name. You could scale the card name depending on its size in the script. That's... all of these layouts aren't dynamically defined. Like, I'm going to hand make these cards, so we're totally just going to do whatever the right thing is for the specific card. And we can manage that by hand. You loved Bellatra? You prefer it on your phone, actually? It's your go-to whenever you have time to kill it? Yeah, I should try that out. You need to unwind. You wish your game needed more art, so you can do an art break. Isn't that just the best when that happens? I do like the big portrait, though. I like the big guy portrait. I have to decide. I have to decide whether it would be more helpful to be like knight, and then to have their like health and their like attack or something. But I feel like there's so much information to the character. It would be better to not try to communicate that at all here. And then just deal with it on the character sheet when you play it. Because if you don't have a knight and you have a knight in your hand, odds are it's better to just have the unit on the field. Because if you don't have the unit on the field, there's nothing you're going to be able to do anyway. So, eh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to color the card backs so that you can kind of tell what your next card is going to be. I think that would be kind of neat if like the knight has like a gray card back. And so you can kind of be like, oh, the next card is a knight card. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely a knight card. So like maybe I should try to keep the knight alive so that I can play a knight next time, or oh, I don't know. How many distinct cards do you plan on having? Well, there's going to be about 15 characters, only 4 in the demo. So we're going to start with 4. But the total number of player characters I have, the upper end is 15. We're going to start with 4. Those are going to be your 4 quote-unquote suits. There will be a meta progression by which you can unlock additional suits, aka characters. And then when you start a new run, you could be like... So, like, let's say you, like, beat a mid-boss, like the Witch or something. Then you can be like, ooh, cool. And maybe the Witch is, like, the end of a quest line or something. And you're like, ooh, okay, so next time I play, I could play with the Witch pack instead of, I could substitute out my Wizard and I could substitute in the Witch or something. And the Witch would be different and cool. So I imagine there will be a lot, but I'm not going to start with that many. We're going to start with 4. And I don't know, I have to still pick what the canonical 4 is going to be, but it's probably going to be Knight. Probably Knight. Probably Knight and Wizard. Knight, Wizard. I'm kind of torn between Thief, Bard, and like Ranger. These are I feel like the real stock characters. I could go with Druid or Priest. I don't think I would do Bard and Priest. So I think I would need to choose whether... I really like this Bard sprite, but maybe that's why he should be an unlock. I kind of want him to be a main character in the tavern, the one that like tells you what's going on and stuff. So it'd be kind of cool if he was an unlockable character. So maybe we'll do something like Knight, Priest, Wizard, and Rogue or something. Well, I'll have to decide, but I'm probably going to start by making just 4 characters. I'll pick which 4, and we'll go with that. I want to use distinct colors so that they're easy to tell. So I don't want to like, I don't really want the Priest and the Bard to start. And the colors are nice because they kind of indicate a little bit of what the person does. So you can tell that the Spellblade both has heavy armor and also casts spells because he looks like the Warlock and the Wizard and, you know, the other guys. The Lich and the Witch. Some sweet pixel art. Yeah, it's the Pixelike 2 on itch. It's a pretty comprehensive pack. The assets do not come in this form. I made these sprite sheets over this weekend. The sprites come in totally just loose. They come just completely loose. Individual 16 by 16 sprites. I had to make sheets because, you know, itch has a web upload limit that this pack by itself violates. But yeah, we have a lot of options. So I think I need to do some more name checking. Like, does Gauntlet fit? Probably not. Gauntlet probably does not fit on a card. But maybe the Gauntlet doesn't need to have the icon on the side. Maybe you can just say Gauntlet and then there can be an icon in the middle. But I don't know. Again, it depends on whether I need to put the information on the card, or what I think would be more helpful is for you to look at what the information would do. All right, pre-rolls are up. I'm going to need to wrap it up here. We are at the 3-hour mark, and I need to go back to work. I actually need to make a sandwich and then go back to work. But this was good for episode 2. We figured out the relationship between the battle map. Why is this like this? Oh, because I didn't save this? Do I have to restore this? Who cares? I think we got a nice card layout. I kind of like, but yeah, you could have Gauntlet up here. We could maybe remove the suit thing if we don't need it, and you could just have a big picture of the Gauntlet here. Because yeah, I don't think the armor, we're going to be able to get away with this. I think things like chest plate is like too long. It's going to need like the whole title. We could just say chest. We could say like gloves. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. We'll have to do some testing about what's viable here and what's not. But yeah, I'm excited. This is good. This is good stuff. Keeping up momentum, I think, is going to be a really critical. Knight, Ranger, Wizard, Priest seems pretty basic class to you. I think that's reasonable. I kind of wanted to have 2 melee, 2 ranged. So, which is why I was kind of thinking of Knight, Thief. And then either Wizard with either Priest or Bard. So I think it'd be Knight, Rogue, Wizard, and then we'll either pick. But I don't know. Ranger is cool. Ranger might be a good choice. Knight, for color reasons, it would probably be best to do Knight, Ranger, Wizard, Bard, or Priest. I'd probably go Bard because he's so cool, but I don't know. He's so cool, I might not. He's the only guy that actually has a face. Notice that he's the only one with a face. Everyone else are just these, like, hollow silhouettes. Well, I guess the witch has a bit of a face. You can see her nose. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's good advice, though. You don't need that many colors. Godot modulate is your friend. What? These are palettes. So you don't want to just modulate your palette away. We don't need to use all of these, but it's better to, you know, have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. When it comes to, you know, stuff like this. But yeah, we're not going to use all of this. It's just nice to have. I meant all of this in terms of items. Like, a lot of items. But yeah. We're going to try to avoid doing that where possible, because pixel art palette stuff is actually usually very purposely done. It's usually very purposeful, but we'll see. We'll see. Lots of questions, many answers. Yeah, we're on our way. Party wipe. Appreciate everyone for watching today. I gotta go now, but we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do the full schedule this week. I don't think there's any reason I need to cut any streams this week. So yeah, we'll be back. We'll be working. We'll be working. The worst part about this jam workflow mindset is how do I do this in a way where I like don't physically sacrifice my health? But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for the stream. Game's exciting. I know, that's the biggest problem, is it's so exciting. I'm being pulled in so many different directions. But appreciate you all hanging out here with me on the journey. I appreciate all the feedback, the ideas. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. 1 commit a day gets you to see the dot for the day. Yeah, that's okay. A commit is good. I'll try to catch the next stream. Yeah, no worries. Catch the VODs, catch the streams. Join the Discord. Whatever works well for you. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye.